You get an opportunity, for example, a big client, a speaking invitation, and instead of feeling ready, your first thought is, why me? That internal gap, between what others see and what you see it's the impostor that is at work. Every high achieving person that you admire, they've acted while the imposter syndrome was still talking in them. At the end of the day, action is the only thing that changes the chapter. Imposter syndrome is not evidence that you don't belong. It's actually evidence that you are doing something that matters to you, something you care enough about to be afraid of failing at. The most dangerous version of this is not the person who feels like a fraud and names it. It is the person who feels like a fraud, never names it, and quietly steps back from every single room that could change their lives because their internal voice keeps saying that it's not you, you are not worthy, you are not good enough. And don't let that voice make your decisions. You built what you built, you know what you know, you have earned the chair you are sitting in. Act like it, not because the doubt is gone, but because you have decided that the doubt does not get a vote on this matter. Can I tell you something that most successful entrepreneurs I know, they rarely say it out loud. A lot of them, and I mean a lot of people who are building real things, people who are making real money, sitting in rooms with serious people, a lot of them are quietly terrified that today is the day they will get found out. They get terrified that someone is going to look at them across the table and say, actually, you don't belong here. We made a mistake. We thought you knew what you were doing, but we realized you don't. That feeling has a name. It's called the imposter syndrome. And if you've ever felt it, I need you to know two things right now. First, you are in an extraordinary company. You are not alone. And the second thing is that if it's left unchecked, it will cost you more than any bad business decision could ever. So let's talk about it. Welcome to the Diary of an African Entrepreneur. My name is Deji Adebusoye. We've talked about detaching your identity from your business. We talked about the scarcity trap. And today we're going to go somewhere that most people feel, but very few of them can name it very clearly. It's the imposter syndrome. What is it? Where does it come from? How does it show up in an African entrepreneur's life specifically? And most importantly, what do you do about it when it shows up? So the imposter syndrome was first identified in 1978 by two psychologists, Dr. Clance and Dr. Himes, and both were at the Georgia State University. They studied more than 150 high-achieving women, and they discovered a consistent pattern. People were objectively successful, objectively accomplished, and yet privately convinced that their success was a mistake. They have found ways to convince themselves that their success or whatever they've achieved was an error, it was a blip, it was a mistake. That they had successfully fooled everyone and that it was only a matter of time before someone will notice. Clance and Himes, they both called it imposter phenomenon at that time. It was later on that it was given the name imposter syndrome. And critically, despite initially being observed in women, they've realized that it actually cuts across everyone, men, women, across all kinds of professions. They've done more research and they've seen that this cuts across all income levels actually as well. Now, a major 2020 systematic review that was published in the Journal of General Internal Medicine, they analyzed 62 studies that covers over 14,000 participants. And what they found was that the imposter syndrome affects the wide range of professional groups across board. There was no exception. These were 14,000 participants that we analyzed, and it cuts across board, and it is consistently associated with anxiety, depression, and lower job performance when it is unaddressed. Now, this is something that is meant for entrepreneurs, but I'm also speaking to even employees. As you grow in an organization, the feeling is always there at some point. Even when you start getting promoted, am I the right person for this job? Am I fit for it? There is that tension that is usually tugging at you every point in time. You walk into a room and they start speaking about certain things and you're wondering, am I in the right room or did I stumble here? And then somebody just calls your name. Oh, Deji, what do you think about this? And at that point, you have to show up and you have to speak. And then you finish speaking and you're surprised. People are nodding and people say yes. And you said, oh, they didn't find out this time. They'll probably find out next time that I was just, bootstrapping here. But that is a feeling, like I said, that, it's been thoroughly researched and they've seen that this cuts across everybody. So what does it feel like? You get an opportunity, for example, a big client, a speaking invitation, a funding conversation, and instead of feeling ready, your first thought is, why me? Why me? Why am I the one that is being sought out for this? They must know that what they are getting, right, or what they are not getting by reaching out to me. To me, you win a contract and you're wondering, when will they realize that they made an error? Someone calls you an expert, and you're wondering, if they only knew how much I'm figuring things out as I go. That internal gap, between what others see and what you see, it's the imposter that is at work. Now, here's what I want to add to the general research that has been done, because the African context actually makes imposter syndrome a lot sharper in some very specific ways. Many African entrepreneurs are first-generation business owners, and you'll agree with me that if you go to the Western world, people have passed businesses down 2, 3, 4 generations. But in Africa, most businesses are first-generation businesses. They are first-generation business. Most entrepreneurs are first-generation business owner. There's no parents, there's no business. There was no business before that, so there was no framework. There was no book, or there was no guidance that was handed to you. You didn't grow up in the business and was allowed to make mistakes. Rather, you took that mantle on yourself. There was no family template anywhere, for what it looks like to close a deal or hire a team or walk into a boardroom and speak and present and convince hearts and minds. You're doing it without a map. You're doing it without more or less figuring it out as you go. And when you're doing it without a map, your brain defaults to, I must be making things up as I go. That is the natural way the brain interprets this, and everyone else has a map I don't have. That is what the brain is telling you. Everyone knows this stuff except myself. Add that to the cultural weight of visibility. In many African communities, there's a real social risk attached to being seen to be big, the fear of envy. And I know you know what I mean by this. Everyone, you heard the popular quote, at least from where I come from, when your yam is pardon my interpretation of Yoruba to English, when your yam is looking good and you want to eat it, you cover your mouth as you're eating it so that other people don't see when you're eating it. So that the fear of envy, people watching and waiting for you to fall. So you shrink yourself, you qualify your success, you downplay your achievements, not just out of self-doubt, but as a social protective mechanism as well to protect yourself. The imposter mindset and the social pressure to be humble, they often feed off each other, and you're barely claiming what you really deserve out of that engagement. You are not taking the credit that you deserve. There's a comparison problem here, and the social media also makes it worse. You see other founders posting published milestones, and you compare their visible highlights reel to your private behind the scene chaos, and you're wondering, everyone else looks like they know what they're doing, and I'm the only one trying to figure things out here. It must mean that I'm doing something wrong. The interesting thing is that the research on minority groups is very relevant here, because in 2020, that systematic review that was done, it actually found out that the imposter syndrome is particularly prevalent among ethnic minority groups. And that is driven in part by being for example, the first in your family, the first in your community, or the first that is trying out a new professional endeavor. So all these things come to play in how it plays out in the mind. I'm going to give you an example of a story, and verbatim, some of the things that she said. I'm sure you all know Maya Angelou. very, very renowned, celebrated writer of the 20th century. She was a poet. She wrote memoirs. She was the author of the book "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings." She won 5 Grammy Awards, nominated for Pulitzer Prize. I mean, she's earned her reputation. She's earned her flowers. She's earned everything she deserves by every means. And yet she said this verbatim: I have written 11 books, but each time I think, they're going to find out now. I've run a game on everybody, and they're going to find me out now. That's Maya. After 11 books, after 11 books, Grammy Awards, presidential recognition, and still she's waiting to be found out. The same thing with Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama, on her book Becoming, she went on a global tour and was interviewed by Chimamanda Adichie, and she said the same thing as well, that sometimes she feels like she still has the imposter syndrome. It never goes away. She made statement like she feels like she'll be found out soon. I'm not sure if I'm projecting myself the right way, and that thought still goes through her mind like every other person. So if this is happening to Maya, is happening to Michelle Obama, why do you think you are different? So I first of all, don't beat yourself because this experience is actually happening to you. 5 ways that I'm going to mention that imposter syndrome has been costing you. The first is that you're undercharging your business because you don't believe that your work is worth what the market will actually pay for it, so you undercharge. You also over prepare, and I know this will sound very familiar to many people. You over prepare because you're trying to overcompensate, even when things that people don't require what you're over preparing for, just because you feel you are not sufficient, what you have is not sufficient, so you do over prepare. The third thing is that you hesitate to pitch or publish or post or promote something that you feel strongly about because the visibility feels like it's a gamble that you might lose. So you've been very careful about putting yourself out there. You also hire people that are less capable than you, and the reason is because hiring someone better than you in a given area feels a bit threatening to you, and you want to avoid that at all costs. That the final area that affects you is that you discount your own experience in rooms where it is directly relevant. You say things like, I'm still learning, I might be wrong, forgive me if I'm not correct, when you actually know exactly what you're talking about. Every single one of those behaviors is a business cost, and it's not just a psychological inconvenience anymore, it's an actual measurable cost to your growth. So here are four moves that I think will help you to reclaim your confidence as you work on this. The first thing is you need to recognize, and it's called the REAL framework, REAL. You need to recognize the pattern, not the person. Imposter syndrome is a cognitive pattern, whether you like it or not. It has to do with the way you think, and it's a habit of thought. So it's not really about you, and you need to recognize that pattern. It's not a personality trait. It's not a character flaw, and it's not an evidence that you don't belong. When the thought appears, name it out loud. This is imposter talking. This is not me, right? Naming it helps you to begin to put a distance between you and that feeling. The next thing is you want to collect evidence. The way they say collect evidence, you want to collect some evidence about it deliberately. Your brain, when it's in an imposter mode, selectively ignores proof that you are competent. So you want to fight back with a running record. So whether it's a document that you've carefully curated, or a note on your phone of specific wins, specific compliments, specific moments that you've had when you delivered over and above. This is not to show off. This is for you personally. You write them down so that you use them to anchor your self-assessment in actual data and not fear when that syndrome begins to show up. And the next thing is you want to act before the feeling feels resolved, right? Here's the secret that a lot of people will miss. It's the confidence that comes with it. And it's not the prerequisite to the confidence is not a prerequisite, as it were, to action. It's rather more of the result. The confidence is a result that shows up after you've acted. So you want to act not when you feel that situation is resolved. The feeling always follows the action more often. than not, and it's not the other way around. And finally, you want to change your language. You want to lift the language. You want to pay very careful attention to how you speak about yourself, your work. You want to cut away all those habitual qualifiers that, oh, I'm just, it might be nothing. The way we are very, very humble when we are talking about certain things. You want to, I'm probably wrong before you start a statement of intent, and the next thing everybody reads after that is that you are wrong and you are not sure about what you're about to say. So you want to own what you've built. Whatever you have built, you want to own it. You want to own what you know. You want to own the chair that you're sitting on. Nobody benefits from your performance of smallness, honestly. Every high achieving person that you admire, whether it's Maya Angelou or whoever that you think that you imagine, they've acted while the imposter syndrome was still talking in them. They did not wait to feel that they were ready. They just chose to move. There was the imposter syndrome. They felt that they were not ready. They felt they were not good enough, but they still moved. And that just tells you that readiness is mostly a story. At the end of the day, action is the only thing that changes the chapter. And that's what you want to focus on. So maybe there's something you can do about this. The first thing is, like I said already, open a note on your phone, because your phone is always with you. And just when there are wins, you can even don't wait for new ones. Take a step back and think about where the wins I've had, where the periods in which I've gotten specific compliments or comments about things I've done that has been positive, where are instances that I have gone over and above and delivered exceptional results. And you want to write those things down. You can even name it what I have actually done. And there's no humility about this. Just write it the way it is, the way it comes to you, put them down. And then after you do that, write down a few things that you have built in those notes, right? Based on this knowledge. And every time something new happens, add it to the list. Add something new to the list. Every compliment from a client, every moment a decision that you made turned out to be exceptionally good or a right one. Screenshot some things if you have to, and just keep them. They are your receipts, they're your evidence. And then when the imposter shows up, whether it's before you go for a big pitch, or before you write a scary email, or you see an email that worries you a bit, or before you walk into a room that feels too big for you, read that file. You just read it, go through it, and you'll be surprised. Oh wow, have you ever been in a situation where you wrote something maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, you read it today and you're asking, did I write that? Well, I've been there many times, and I'm asking myself, did I write this, or did I copy it from somewhere? But I actually did. And then you just say, oh, so I could write this well. So you want to bring out those things and read, and then before you step into those rooms, it just gives you that extra layer of confidence every time you do that. So here's what I want you to carry out of this episode. Imposter syndrome is not evidence that you don't belong. It's actually evidence that you are doing something that matters to you. It's something with real stakes, something you care enough about to be afraid of failing at, right? The people who feel nothing are usually the ones who are not trying anything significant. The fact that you feel means that there is something at stake and you're doing something that really matters. The most dangerous version of this is not the person who feels like a fraud and names it. It is the person who feels like a fraud, never names it, and quietly steps back from every single room, every opportunity, every investment that could change their lives, because their internal voice keeps saying that it's not you, you are not worthy, you are not good enough. And don't let that voice make your decisions. You built what you built, you know what you know, you have earned the chair you are sitting in. Act like it, not because the doubt is gone, but because you have decided that the doubt does not get a vote on this matter. So this is episode 3 on the foundational phase of this new journey we are going on in the Diary of an African Entrepreneur. The next episode we're going to be looking at is we're going to be shifting from mindset to action, and we're going to be talking about the fear of visibility and why people are afraid of being seen. And if you found this one particular episode very helpful to you, I want you to share it, particularly subscribe, because every new episode release is going to be made available to you if you're subscribed to the channel. So we want you to subscribe, but more importantly, share with your friends, your family, your colleagues, your boss, your employees as well. And I'm sure they will all find this very useful. I am Deji Adebusoye. Stay building. I'll see you soon. Thank you.